Good evening. This is BelGeode, and we are back with some more Microsoft Flight Simulator. And tonight, we're going back to my home state, Florida. Yay! I haven't lived there for like 20 years, but I spent most of my life there now. So I still kind of sort of consider it my home state. All right, but this one is going to be a little bit shorter than my usual videos because we're not really going from one location to another location. We're actually going to stay in the same location. I'll explain that in a moment. But first, let's show you the aircraft that we're going to be using today. So let's pop this open here. And you can see this lime green monstrosity here in front of you. This is the Aeroworks Aerolite 103. Now, this aircraft is brought to us by Nemeth Designs. The link, of course, will be in the video description below. And of course, you should be seeing a pop-up about it right now. But yeah, it's an ultralight. There's not much more I can really say about an ultralight. They are designed to be basically just your, Sunday afternoon flyer. You don't need like a full pilot's license for it. It's classified under light sport. You basically just need a driver's license in order to be considered for the ability to fly this thing. Of course, you will need some training, obviously, but it's pretty straightforward, as I'm sure you will see. So with this particular bird, this is what we've got to work with here. And let me just show you the liveries really quick. You can see they've got multiple liveries for us to choose from. Lots of different colors. Everything to your heart's content. Of course, they don't have purple. This is as close as they could get is pink. And I'm not flying the pink one. Nah, don't like it. I do, however, like green. So that's why we chose that one. Weight and balance, as always, again, not much to it. Your pilot weight is in there. It only seats one person, so apparently I now weigh 168 pounds. I'm going to go with that. It's after the holidays. I'm sure I've lost some weight, so yeah, I'll go with that. And our fuel is currently at 50. We'll bump that up a little bit to about 70. But this thing will sip gas. It does not go very fast. A cruise speed of about 50 knots. We're not really going to go anywhere in a hurry. But this is a good thing considering the fact that we're really not going anywhere. Let's zoom into Mother Earth here and I'll explain exactly what I mean. One thing you will notice though, I don't know if you can see it on your monitor, but there are an awful lot of green dots all over the place, which indicates players flying. That's actually incredible. I have not seen this many people concurrently in Microsoft Flight Simulator, so they've got to be doing something right here. All right, but this is our departure and destination. It's supposed to be on the island, but of course the little map here doesn't represent it well. We are at Lewis Airport on Cedar Key in Florida. Now, Cedar Key is located, of course, just off the Gulf Coast of Florida. And I guess as far as comparing it to different parts of Florida, you've got Tampa down here and Tarpon Springs. And up this way, you've got Pensacola. So it's like somewhere in between the two of those. And I think Tallahassee is like right there. So it's exactly between Tallahassee and Tampa on the Gulf Coast. Now, I have set the weather to custom weather. So we should have some rather dramatic looking skies. And the time, of course, I have it set to after 3 o'clock. You'll notice that my little time slider changed itself. That is a weird thing that Microsoft Flight Simulator does. It likes to change the time on you arbitrarily. But we set it around 3 o'clock with the moody skies because any of my viewers that live in Florida knows exactly what happens around 3 o'clock. And even though this is not an IFR bird, we still want it to look good for this video. So hopefully the weather will hold out just a little bit longer for me to get my little brief flight in there. All right, but that is pretty much what we're doing. No flight plan, no planning of any sort. We're just going to hop in, fly around Cedar Key, and check out the work that pilots have done on this airport. And as always, the link to that will be in the video description below. Okay, without further ado, let's hop into the Aerolite. All right, so here we are in the ultralight, and what is there really to say about this aircraft? It's an ultralight. There's not a whole heck of a lot to it. It is basically your go out on a Sunday afternoon and have fun aircraft. Pretty easy, pretty basic. And like I said, there's really not much to it. You can see we have very limited gauges here. We got a vertical speed indicator, an altimeter, an airspeed indicator. It looks to be in knots though, so that's good. Fuel gauge and what appears to be an EGT, but I'll be honest with you folks, I don't know that the EGT actually works. Not to mention, this thing does not really have like a mixture knob or anything. Everything's just pretty basic here. Surprisingly enough, though, it does actually have flaps, which I found interesting for an aircraft this small, considering the fact that you can take off on a very short runway. And since we want a very short runway for takeoff and landing, what better place for us to be but here on Cedar Key? As I explained in the intro, this runway is considered the shortest paved runway in the US at about 2355 feet or something like that. So, yeah, plenty of space for us in this bird, and we should be able to get up and out of here in no time. But of course, none of that's going to happen until we actually get this thing started. So let me see if I remember how to do this here. Let's see. We probably want all these switches on. So we'll hit that one. We'll hit that one. We'll turn our master switch on. And we're probably going to need fuel. So that's this little fuel cock over here. There we go. You will notice this thing does have a safety parachute. Hopefully we will not need that. I don't think it's modeled anyway. Let's get our parking brakes on. I think the parking brakes are on. Yeah, now they're off. Now they're on. Okay. So I think we're pretty much set. We should be able to hit the button for engine start. Oh, nice. Nice. I'm guessing we've got like a little Rotax engine in there. As always, I'll have the little pop-ups that will tell us all the necessary stats about this particular bird. But yeah, this already feels great. You know, everything I do is in VR, with the exception, of course, for Arma 3. But this right here, this is true flying. If you really want to get down to it, this is what flying is all about. It's basically stick and rudder, or I guess in this case, steering wheel and rudder. But yeah, the commanding view that you have in something like this is incredible. And it's always been on my bucket list to fly one of these types of things. All right, but I think we're pretty much good to go. So let's see if we can take a tour around Cedar Key. And let me pop open my little ATC menu here. We want to select a runway for takeoff. And let's go with runway 5, since that's right here and the windsock seems to be favoring that direction. We'll announce a taxi.
Kilo Charlie Delta Kilo traffic November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo is taxiing to runway 5.
All right. That's all we need to do. There's no lights or anything on this, so there's very little you need to worry about. I look at that yacht over there and I'm like, we may need to buzz that sometime shortly here. All right, let's get our parking brakes off. Give it a little power here. And we'll try not to hit this guy's Bonanza on our way out. At least I think that's a Bonanza. Yeah, it kind of looks like a Bonanza. Howdy, dude. Don't mind us. We're just going for a little fly before the rains come in. And we'll set up shop at the hold short here. Brakes. All right. Now, ATC menu. Let's go departing straight out.
Kilo Charlie Delta Kilo traffic November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo taking off runway 5 departing straight out.
Okay, sounds good to me. All right, let's get our parking brakes off again. We'll go to the outside view really quick as we line up on the runway. Man, I love the squeaky brakes that this thing has. Alright, so we've got our flaps down one. Let's pull the flaps through both positions. So landing, takeoff, no flaps. We'll put it back there. Do a quick controls wipeout. So left, right. You can see there's not much play to this. Up and down, and rudder. Okay. I think everything is good. So, you know what it's time for, folks. Brakes down, throttles up, and let's see if we can go for a quick flight before the rains really start to hit Cedar Key. And we'll even go to the landing gear view for takeoff. Alright, 85% power, looking good, looking good. Brakes off, full power. And already we're starting to drift. Lovely. Alright, back to the outside view. And that is awesome. Quite possibly the easiest takeoff that I have ever done in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Aside from, of course, the Cessna 172 takeoff that I did the very first time that I tried it. Alright, but there you can see Cedar Keys Airport, Lewis Airport I believe it's called. But yeah, that runway is really short. Can you imagine taking in a bigger plane and trying to stop on that? Yeah, that's just not gonna happen. I could see like the caravan that they've got on the other side, and of course the Bonanza and whatnot, but if you're floaty on your way in, forget about it. There is no way you're gonna bring this in. But look at the beginnings of the sunset over the Gulf Coast there. Wow. See, I love when the sky is moody like this. Typically, this is what will happen in Florida when you're over by the coast. In particular, the Gulf Coast, but I have seen it like close to areas like Orlando and so on. The sky actually does look like this. So, wow, that is actually impressive. There's another boat there. Speaking of which, there is the boat that I wanted to buzz. We'll go around the island once, and when we're beginning our approach, we'll just kind of get really low and check it out there. But you can already see the boat models are top notch on this scenery here. Now I have been told that this scenery does come with moving boat traffic, but to be honest with you, I have not seen any yet. I just installed this thing today, so I don't know if there's something I'm missing perhaps, but all I see is just the static boats, which, don't get me wrong, the static models look amazing. I mean, look at that. That's a boat. But yeah, aside from that, there's really not much that I've seen that's moving other than, of course, the automobile traffic. I do, however, like the fact that they have the docks, the little piers there behind everybody's house stretching into the water. Some of it looks a little bit sketchy. It kind of looks like some of it is underwater almost, but for the most part, most of the docks look pretty cool. Now, from my understanding, the area that they've covered, I want to say that island is a part of it. However, all of that stuff directly ahead is not, and same goes for mainland Florida. That's all default Microsoft stuff. Everything that we're seeing over here, however, this is all Cedar Key. And I do find it interesting that the airport beacon for this is not actually on the airport property. It's just kind of off on its own little place there. But that's kind of cool. All right, so let's go back to the outside view, and we are going to hang a right and head over to that bridge that leads to Cedar Key before we turn around and check out some more of the island. Okay, so here we can see the beginnings of mainland Florida, and there's a major highway over there. I'm not quite sure where that leads. I assume eventually to like Tampa or one of those places there, because this whole area is pretty much in between Tallahassee and Tampa, or Pensacola and Tampa, actually. So there's the main bridge. You can see the traffic on there. There's another little bridge that seems to disappear into the water. And that seems to be a recurring theme overall with Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm not saying that X-Plane is absolved of anything when it comes to that, because X-Plane does have the same problem when you're dealing with orthophotos and how they interact with water. But with that having been said, the rest of the island does look pretty cool. So we're going to come down the main thoroughfare here. I believe the downtown area is directly ahead of us, and I use that term loosely because even though this is the city of Cedar Key, as you can see, there's not a whole heck of a lot of real estate here at all. So city is kind of pushing it. But I'm sure they've got enough people here that it would technically classify as a city. So the downtown is down that way, right along the coast there. So what we'll do is we'll continue following this road. And you see where that little inlet is just before that smaller island to the left? We'll cut through there, and then we'll hang a sharp right and go past the buildings downtown. But once again, let's go back to the outside view. Okay, so this is the area that I'm calling the downtown. And yeah, some of these houses look a little bit iffy. You can tell that they're set on top of the orthophotos of themselves, but I think think the model matching might need a little bit more work. But yeah, you can see one of the few big buildings that they have here. I'm assuming that's probably a restaurant. That definitely looks like a rustic inn or someplace like that. Pretty cool stuff, though. Really cool stuff. We'll check out this side. That is nice. That is pretty nice. So yeah, most of the areas around here do look really cool. Some a little bit questionable as far as the placement of the houses, because you can definitely see like the roof printed on the orthophoto. But with that having been said, I think they did a decent enough job as far as mimicking where the houses are supposed to be. We're going to go past this water tower, so let me quickly go back to the outside view here. And looks to be some kind of a warehouse or something over there. Now, one of the things that I do like is the fact that they have placed boat models where the orthophoto shows boats. It's not on everything, so you'll notice there's some there that are just basically pictures. But for a lot of the boats around here, they actually did place the models, so that was a pretty cool move on their part. I'm not quite sure if there's really a magic bullet for developers when it comes to working with scenery like this that relies heavily on orthophotos. I don't know that there's really a happy medium that can be found, because on the one hand, the orthophotos really makes the place pop. It makes the place look realistic. But on the other hand, think about how much work it would take to model every single thing that's on that orthophoto, like those two semi-trucks and the car down there, and that other pickup truck over there. That's got to be incredible as far as the amount of work that would be needed to make all of this 3D so that it just pops out. That's crazy, and honestly, I don't think I could pull that off, as much as I like messing with scenery in the various flight sims. That's just way too much work. So hopefully at some point in time, somebody will invent some kind of a system that will just automatically parse all of that information in the orthophotos and pretty much make everything 3D without someone having to hand place it. But I guess that will also rely greatly on us having up-to-date information in things like Bing Maps or Google Maps or whatever it is that they're using for an ortho source. I know in the case of Microsoft, it is Bing because, well, Microsoft owns Bing. Alright, but I did promise you that we would buzz the boats, so let's see if we can buzz both of them over the Gulf Coast here. I'm going to swing out to the right, and we're going to turn to the left. We'll actually put it to the outside view where the landing gear camera is. We'll see if we can cause some ruckus here. Now that is awesome. I love it. I love it. That's probably the best thing about this scenery package. Those two yachts over there. I would go chasing after that one, but honestly, I don't want this to be too long of a video, and this thing only flies at a cruise speed of about 50 knots. So yeah, we're going to turn back in. We'll set ourselves up for an approach to come in on runway 5, and we'll bring her back down. Oh look, there's a tiny fishing vessel down there. It's one of them little fishing boats that you grab your buddies and a cooler of beer. Alright, so this Crescent Island is going to be our landmark as far as coming in. So we'll overfly the runway here, and then we'll make a 180-degree turn and begin our downwind leg. So let me first let everyone know what we're doing here. Even though there's not much traffic around here, still want to do things the right way most of the time.
Kilo Charlie Delta Kilo traffic.
They're going to find this funny.
Alpha Golf Bravo 1 mile southwest 200 feet inbound to land runway 5.
They're probably like, what in the hell? Alright, let's go to the outside view and we'll make our turn around here. Okay, so we have flaps 1, and we are currently downwind, so let's let them know that we're downwind.
Kilo Charlie Delta Kilo traffic November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo is on downwind runway 5.
And we're drifting a little to the right. Even though I know we can cut this corner really tight, I kind of want to pull myself out here because I want to go past that little Crescent Island before I turn around and land. So there we go. Once again, we've got a commanding view of everything on the island. This is literally the best seat in the house right here. Too cool. Too cool. So yeah, I hope that you would be interested in picking this scenery package up. Like I said, it's by Pilots. They are an Austrian company. And I'm actually kind of waiting to see if they're going to bring their Tiamen Island to MSFS. Tiamen Island was last seen on this channel in Prepared version 4. I think the very last video that I did on Prepared version 4. I really haven't picked it up since then. But yeah, I kind of want them to bring Tiamen Island in because that was a phenomenal scenery for Prepared, and I'm pretty sure they can do the same exact thing here in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Alright, how's our speed doing? We are at 40 knots. Okay, let's go ahead and bring her in. We'll go to the outside view as we line up. Alright, we're going to start dropping out of the sky really quick here, so I'm watching my vertical speed. Right about here, we'll flare. We'll also drop the power. Are we even on the ground? Holy crap, we're on the ground. I didn't even feel that landing. That was pretty cool. That is how it's done, folks. That is how it's done. So buttery smooth that you can't even tell that you landed. Alright, so we're going to take it to the end here. We'll slow down a bit. Actually, let's hit the squeaky brakes again. I love the squeaky brakes. That makes me laugh every time. I know, it's the simple things in life that amuse me sometimes. Okay, so let's go ahead and head into our parking spot, and then we will call this video done. You may have noticed that little, I guess, weird bug with this airport. The plane just kind of dips into the ground and then pops back up. I'm not sure if the cause of that is the sim itself or if it's the airport. But I do know one of the selling points with this airport is that it's supposed to give you a dynamic experience. So pretty much what that means, every time you load up in this airport, you're supposed to be able to see like a different setup almost. So I don't know if that means they'll have like different planes there or what. But yeah, there is that. Overall though, I would say this is a pretty neat little scenery. I would be curious to see what improvements they're going to give to this, but so far, I gotta say, I like it. It feels very homey. It feels like Florida, pretty much. And for someone who has not lived in Florida for, heck, I believe 20 years now, this definitely reminds me of home. This really reminds me of home. All right, but let's get our flaps up and we'll go back to the outside view and taxi to parking. Okay, so we'll turn around and we'll park next to the Bonanza. Look at that Jeep. That looks cool. I mean, the other car looks great too, but Jeep? Yeah, Jeep, nice. All right, we'll pull forward a bit here. We'll rotate around. And that, of course, will do it for me. So I thank you, as always, for watching. This has been BelGeode. I have been flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator. The aircraft that we've been showing off today is Nemeth Designs Aerolite, which is, of course, an ultralight, and a rather beautiful one at that. And the scenery that we've been showing off has been Cedar Key by Pilots. The links to everything will be in the video description below. Both of these are Payware, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think they're both Payware. If not, I'll have a pop-up popping up right now that'll tell you. I know the airport is. I'm not sure about the airplane. All right, but if you enjoy what you've seen, please feel free to give me a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And I will be back sometime soon with some more flight simming goodness. All right, let's get the power off. And we'll call this baby done. Ciao.